So in this session, we'll have a clarity on Vivo extension, and there are some properties regarding the Vivo extension. So when you start with the Vivo extension, make sure that you have the personalization profiles enabled for your user also. Okay, and this can be done only at site level, and you require JDeveloper to work with the Vivo extension. And the same way, like similar to personalization, whatever the substitution. So this Vivo extension, we generally call it as substitution concept. So this substitution information will also get stored in the JDR tables. So in some of the cases, like when you deal with support projects where you get kind of issues, right? So if you want to find out which Vivo is getting replaced with which Vivo, that information also available at the JDR level, because we will be deploying our JPEG file to MDS. So that's the reason. What are the substitution which you do, that also will be available in the JDR tables. And the same process, like as I discussed earlier, also same process followed, but we'll not be doing it. And Vivo extension is used when there is a change required for the SQL query. So generally, like we have to be very careful when you want to implement Vivo extension. The basic reason is technically it is not complex. The only problematic thing is, each particular module and the page which Oracle implements generally is a different way. The reason could be because of the developers, because of the module complexity, the internal table structure, or the available APIs. So that's the reason you'll find different kind of coding style in each page or each module, I can say. Okay, so that's the reason the approach which you followed in the earlier may not work in this particular one, vice versa. So that's the reason you have to carefully analyze how it is implemented, what will be the best approach. So that again depends upon like a deeper understanding of the particular page which you implement. And most of the times when you work with CO extension or Vivo extension, we decode lot number of class files to understand how it is implemented. Again, it depends on the requirement. See, it is not that every time you have to get much deeper. It's all depends on your requirement.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now let's get to the steps. So these are the 9 steps. Okay. Generally to implement to work on the Vivo extension. First thing is, what is your requirement? For your requirement, whether you require Vivo extension or just a personalization is enough. How do you distinguish this? Let us say your table region, which is there in the page, is showing already 5 fields. Okay, and you want other field, a 6th field to be shown. So that 6th field value, first of all, you should analyze whether that is available in the query or not. If it is available within the query of the Vivo, which is already available, then you don't require Vivo extension. You require Vivo extension only when that particular value which you want is not available in the select query. That is one reason. Other reason could be, let us say you want to append some extra where clause at runtime, then you require Vivo extension also. Let us say, your requirement is you have a page and you want to, let us say you have some extra search criteria and you want to pass that value to your existing table region, so that you will allow filter, you will allow OAF framework to filter more data, more restricted, or nothing but having extending the filter criteria. So a couple of reasons based on that you can find out. So first thing is identify the Vivo extension and move all your relevant class files to my classes. Generally, moving all the dependent my classes may not work. You have to move to my projects. It is quite different concept. So, but most of the times wherever you find it, they say that move your Vivo related class files to my classes. But in the Vivo extension, that may not work. We have to move to my projects also.
Okay.
And next thing is we have to create a new Vivo by extending the CO. Similarly, when we created a new CO, extending the CO. Similarly, we create a new Vivo, extending the Vivo. Once we create a new Vivo, it will, it will have the information about, the latest Vivo information. And the next, change your Vivo appropriately. And then perform a substitution, which is available at the project properties level. Here, if you observe, I provided a navigation. 1 minute. Right click on the project properties, perform substitution. This particular process, line number 5 will generate JPX file. One major important thing is when JPX file is generated, right? So it is JDeveloper, and sometimes it will not generate the content which you want to generate. So regenerate the JPX file, enable, disable, again regenerate it. Open the JPX file using Notepad, observe whether it really generated the substitution or not. I literally, don't like Oracle products because you will at least find 10% of bugs in this. At least 10%. Okay. So we have to be very careful in this kind of stuff. Once your JPEG file is generated, find out like I mean this is a process, like this is a process of migrating the JPX file to MDS layer. So when we imported the page, we imported the page to MDS layer. Even personalization is also imported to this MDS layer. Even Vivo substitution also will be stored in the MDS. Nothing but metadata service, nothing but DB layer, database layer.
Okay.
And all the relevant XML files, Vivo files, class files, we have to move to server and then bounce the server. Bouncing the server is mandatory in any version, whether 12.13 or 12.2. It is mandatory. You have to bounce it. Until unless you bounce it, the latest version of Vivo will not be available in the page for the personalization. So once the bounce is done, and if you see the new Vivo in the page, it means that your Vivo substitution is successful. If you don't see your Vivo in the page, it means you have to validate where it went wrong.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the 9 steps. So let's see. Any questions or shall we proceed?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any prerequisite, a specific requirement in any page, or shall we go with any?
No, let's go with that EMP table itself, and we can add more data to there where conditions probably like.
So Vivo extension generally we'll do on the seeded pages. So which table? You're saying about employee HRMS. Okay, fine.
No, if you have any seeded one, probably that may be the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Seeded
Maybe
one.
we'll go with that. Yeah. So most probably the OAF pages exist in.
Yeah. Your GH.
So. So we have most of the OAF pages in HRMS, iProcurement, and iProcurement and iPayables as well, right?
Yes, all IE modules. Yes, invent.
Yeah, and iStore as well. There is one iStore module.
Let me try iProcurement vision operations. Try whether this page is working. Requisition. Yeah, I think it should work. Let me. It is not showing me to. I think it is already extended. Can you see? It is already extended. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can check for other page. I want data, then only. Install base, do we have?
Yeah, install base page itself, right? Yeah, that's the OAS page again.
Yeah, but install base CRM, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One strange thing. Do you see? Is this OAF page? It is not an OAF page.
Oh.
Yeah. So it is not an OAF page. If it is OAF page, it has to show about this page. If it doesn't show.
Yeah, about this page. Yeah. But you know what? We did some customizations on this one. I worked most of the time on this module. We had one requirement to change that was on an extended attribute actually. So when we go to the what is this? This is something like
because it doesn't show, right? It's not showing anything.
No, that's expired items. Okay. There is something else actually.
See, it is a clear JSP page. Here, if you observe, yes, we can do a customization on this JSP page. If you observe, it is a pure JSP page, Java server page. It is not OAF page. If it is OAF page, it has to show, like that OA.JSP question mark page is equal to. It is not showing that, right?
Okay.
So generally, yes, we do personalization in this particular JSP pages also, but the approach is totally different. Okay.
Okay. We saw that buyers work center, right? Can we do that?
Yeah, where was that? Procurement, right?
From procurement, yeah.
What was the name? Purchasing super user. Okay. Let me purchasing vision operations. Okay. Purchasing vision operations.
by instruction.
Yeah. Fine. Let's try in this. Okay. Now let's say when we search. So there are one more important thing here. Now here, if you observe, there are some scenarios where this underlying table region is not based on a query. Nothing but when you just click on about this page and find out the query behind it, you may not find query. So in those scenarios, what Oracle will do is Oracle will generate the query of those particular table region at runtime. So what you may see, first thing is every Vivo has to have a query. But if you remember, there is one type of Vivo. It's a programmatical Vivo where you don't require Vivo, where you don't require query.
Yeah.
So in those scenarios, you can simply, generally, like, you can populate the data programmatically at runtime for each record. Other scenario is I will just have a dummy query like a select star from dual where 1 is equal to 0, which will never return any data. But what I do is I'll be replacing that query, total query at runtime. Vivo.set, like a replace, there is one particular method. Using that, we generally replace a query also. Let's try whether this particular query is based on a Vivo or not. Yeah, I think it is based on a Vivo. Supplier summary Vivo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. So this is based on a Vivo. Hoping we can extend this one, okay? So let's see the steps involved. Return to supplier. Assume that, like, we want to add up some extra field here. As of now, 4, 5, 9 fields are there. Let us say we want to add up one more field, like a 10th field, maybe some description or maybe supplier status or whatever it is. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we can do is, so in this page, like when you have a larger number of regions in a page, it is very tough to identify your appropriate region. So that's the reason, just make a note of your particular, like this particular table region. So in our case, it is supplier table, and hoping this is not part of independent region. So how do you can find us? Like, click on personalize. It will tell you whether this is part of independent region or it's a part of a page. So now one thing we identified is this particular table region is part of this particular page only. It is not an independent region, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This is our page. Next thing is, click on about this page and expand all. Okay. Stack layout, container footer. Yeah.
So in this case, we don't have that field, whichever we want to display in the Vivo query, right? Or is it already there?
No, it is not there. That's the reason we want to extend it, right? Let us assume, we are assuming we want something, but it is not available. That's what we want to assume.
Okay.
So now this is our region, search results, right? So whatever the header name which was displayed at region level, right? You will find here. Can you see supplier tables also? You can find that information.
Yeah.
So now, yeah. So you can just click on this one. You can find out the path. Or easiest thing is expand this one in the business component reference details below the page. So now here it clearly provides information about what was the Vivo and their information. So in our case, what was the Vivo name? Supplier Summer Vivo. Supplier Summer Vivo. So this is my Vivo name.
Yeah.
So this is one way. Other way is get the page, and from the page you can easily get the PG, like XML file from the MDS layer, and then from there you can easily find out what is the Vivo name. So now this is our standard Vivo.
Yeah.
Now next thing is our extended Vivo. Generally we'll go with this particular path, like a XX. What was that? What we followed? CNN. I'll just follow like the same CN thing.
Yeah.
Vivo X, extended Vivo. Okay, this will be our latest Vivo name. Now we'll go to a WinSCP. And when you work with the Vivo extension, most of the times your particular JDeveloper project structure may be corrupted. So we have to be very careful. It will not delete any files, but JDeveloper project structure and opening of your particular components you'll have an issue in that. So that's the reason whenever you work with Vivo extension, always create a new workspace in the project. Java class.
Yeah.
Vivo supplier. So here we have the information, and what we preferably do is, let us say JDev home, JDev. I'm moving the information to my projects, okay? Because definitely just moving the class file to my classes will not work in the Vivo extension scenario. Okay, Oracle, apps, POS, supplier, and Oracle apps, POS, supplier, server. So on the left side, in my local system, I'm creating the same directory structure till server I am. Next thing is I need to move supplier summary Vivo. Supplier summary Vivo. So this is having supplier summary Vivo. 3 files are there. Okay.
Okay.
So one important thing is just moving these 3 files may not suffice your requirement, and it may not allow you to extend the Vivo in some scenarios. The reason is in some of the seeded Vivos, those Vivos are already extended to another Vivo also. You can have n number of levels generally.
Okay.
Because Oracle generally you'll have a latest release every year. So maybe what they do is they will extend the existing Vivo also. Oracle will, like, there are many seeded Vivos which are already extended also. Or maybe let us say if this Vivo is based on entity, you have to copy your entity object also. So that's the reason what we generally do is, now let us say our parent is supplier. Above server, I have supplier. So I'll just try to move all the things which are there, the server to server folder, I'll just copy because I don't want to get the issues. But problem with this approach is if you're in a VPN environment, copying the files from your server to local machine, generally, it takes good amount of time. What we do generally is you zip it, like this folder, you zip it and copy the zip file from your server to local machine and then unzip it. That's the easiest approach.
Okay. So how do we know where if that Vivo is extended, we still lies in this directory?
Yeah. So what we can do is you just need to decode. So we have decoders which will convert class files to Java file. So using decoders, we can find out whether this particular Vivo which we are referring, is it having any dependency, and if it is yes, what is that, and get those particular files also. So we have to use decoders for that. We have one of the utility where I can provide you that one of the utility generally I use it is JAD, Java decoder. Other one also I remember Kava Java or something. I don't remember exactly, but JAD is a very simple utility. JAD.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one a very simple utility, free one. Firefox. Not this one. Yeah, Java decompiler. I think not this one also. I can provide you that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's try now. What we do is go to JDeveloper. So better to create a new workspace and project. I'll create a new workspace and new project. I'll just have a particular name so that I can understand, okay, this particular project which I'm referring, I'm doing a substitution. Okay, supplier view substitution. This is my project name. Go with the default, there's nothing to change. Click on finish. Now here if you observe in this particular project, by default you may find lot number of information, but we may not require all those things. I'll just change the package structure to level 2 and exclude all the things which are not relevant to us. Why we are changing the package structure to 2? Because if you change it to 1, it will totally corrupt and it will not allow you to delete it. Last time we had the same issue, right? So that's the reason.
Yeah.
Make it to 2 and then remove which is not required for us. So maybe CNN is required. Okay, let's try. When we work with multiple projects or multiple pages, so you have to do these kind of stuff so that you can manage your components properly. Just click on save. Yeah. Now this is our project. Right click on the project.
Either I have a question here.
Yeah.
So we just did a soft delete, right? Which means it won't delete from the Windows, right?
Yes. Yes.
It disappears from the JDeveloper screen.
Yes. You can see that information here. Project properties excluded. So we excluded all this information. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but if you want to totally delete, I mean, see, I have created some dummy project and try to do, but something went wrong. I don't even know how to troubleshoot that. So in that case, if I totally want to delete that, not just exclude, if I totally want to delete from my workspace itself, how is it?
If you want to do a total physical delete, what you do is go to the JDeveloper My Projects folder. And now let us say I want to delete this folder. What I can do? Simply shift delete or delete. That's it. Permanently it will delete. Go to My Projects and delete from there. Delete only total folder. Just don't try to delete a single component.
Okay.
Now let us say you created a page and you think that like you don't want it. What you can do is first of all exclude from here and then delete from here. Or let us say you created a Vivo, you want to delete only that Vivo. What you can do is first of all exclude from here. Before deleting from here, exclude the information from here and then go here and you can delete.
Okay.
Yeah. And like when you're trying to rename, right? So renaming, now let us say assume that this package name which I mentioned is wrong. Instead of FND, I mentioned AND. What I can do is the best of, don't try to rename from here. That will not work. Don't rename from here. You have to go with refactor option, rename or move. We picked it, right? That's how we have to do it.
Yeah.
So now here, what I can do is I would like to see my Oracle folder also here. I want to see my Oracle folder. What I can do is right click here, click on project properties. I'll check out the excluded one and I will remove from the excluded stuff so that nothing but it will get included. Click on OK. Now I can see my Oracle folder, right? So in the Oracle folder, so I don't want to see the other things. So I can just simply perform softbillet on the other stuff like this.
Okay.
So I can see only POI supplier. And this also I don't want to see. Click on yes. Now save it. So when you're deleting it, right? So always frequently save it. What happens is generally it gets corrupted very easily. So I mean, I don't say it's corrupted. It's just because of the tool issue. Okay. So this was our thing which we did earlier, and now server. Okay. So as of now, can you see we just have only 3 files in the supplier server structure. So just observe this query. Yeah. So it says there are generally you get these kind of issues. Just ignore those errors.
Okay.
Then okay. Now this is our query, right? This is a query which it is showing. Now as of now we don't know what to change, but what we can do is let us follow the steps first, and then we'll check out what to be modified. Yeah.
That's grayed out, right, Sridhar?
Yes, it will be grayed out. It will not allow you to change it here.
Okay.
This is seeded one. This is a seeded one, and you don't have the Java files. That's the reason it will not allow you to change it.
Okay.
Yeah. So why that is the reason wantedly that is the reason we copied our Vivo files to my projects. Even though they are class files, we have copied into my projects because we want to see this information from here. That is one reason. Another reason was generally the approach, even Oracle says to move to my classes, that will not work. We have to move here only. Now on the my projects, I'll perform a right click on new and ADF business components, Vivo object, click on OK, click on next. Now make a note of our latest information. So this is my custom package I want to mention. And what was the Vivo name I want to mention is this one. Yes. And now here on this extends property, we have to mention the seeded Vivo name.
Okay.
Click on browse. Can you see here? It is available, right?
Yeah. So
it shows.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
So on top of the seeded Vivo, one developer for the first customization, he did some Vivo change and he extended it. He extended the seeded Vivo, and we got a second request from users. And in that case, do we need to extend the one that is already extended, or use the one from the seeded? We need to extend the second one, right?
See, that is not a good option, right? Because the reason is you have a seeded Vivo, developer one already extended it. So now you got another requirement. So don't try to extend the developer one Vivo. What you do is get his code and modify that Vivo only and perform your requirement on the top of it itself.
On top of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, because now there is no advantage of now. Let us say Vivo EX1 is already there. Now, if your requirement is to have one more logic, don't extend don't Vivo extend one, don't extend Vivo EX1. It's of no use. What you do is modify your Vivo EX1 and do the same approach.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now here, if you observe, when you're trying to do a Vivo extension, and your seeded Vivo has to be shown here. If it doesn't show, there is no way we can extend it. Our logic will not work. So that's the reason. Make sure that you copy your class files here and make sure that it shows here. If it doesn't show, close your JDeveloper, reopen it again. Or if it, let us say in the worst case, still it doesn't show, create a new project and find out again. Worst case, even still if it doesn't work, the only approach is using CO, perform your Vivo extension.
Okay.
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 Click on OK. Now, can you see by default you don't have any options to select? Simply click on next and finish. Don't change any properties at this point of time.
Okay.
Next. Can you see now it allows you to change the query, but I don't want to change now. Let it go with default. Click on next.
Okay.
Next. And if you want row MPL, generate it, or else you can ignore it. Next and finish. So our latest Vivo is available at this level. CNN, supplier, server, this one. Okay. So first important property what we have to change is open the seeded one, supplier summary Vivo, and click on the query. And here there is one particular binding style. It's called Oracle positional. So as I said you earlier, Oracle follows a different strategy. Each developer will have its own interest, or depending upon the module, they may have a different binding style. So make a note of this binding style. It is Oracle positional. Now go to your Vivo and find out whether the binding style are same or not. Can you see? It is Oracle named. If your binding style is different, that's it. You're correcting your Vivo. So change it accordingly. It is Oracle positional now, right? This is the first information we have to change it.
Yeah.
Click on apply and OK. Now the next change is make a note of this query and don't try to add up your parameters in the middle. Always add up at the last. Okay. Now I'll just copy the total query and so this query which we are using may not work because it may have a larger number of conditions or maybe GTTs or whatever it is. Let's try. If it works, that is good. I think it is working. Employee number as employee number. Very good. So now what we can do is, so we have good amount of tables here. Exit parties, suppliers, terms. Okay. Yeah. Now here, if you observe, this query was showing larger number of information, but it was not showing. If you observe this one, right? Let us say go back to search page. It is not showing terms number, right? It is not.
Yeah.
Term description is there. Now let us say, if your requirement is to show term description, I don't even require Vivo extension at all. Correct?
Yes. Yes. That's right.
Because this column is already available in the query. So I want to display something which is not already available. Now here, let us say employee number. So this particular one, supplier is assigned to employee, right? Supplier is assigned to an employee because I could see, no, it is not a PXCX, right? Okay, it is already there. Okay, not required.
Maybe supplier active status.
Supplier
active status.
Okay. What's the column name?
I don't know.
Let's see. Description, alternative, enable flag.
Enable flag. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So I think we don't have enable flag already. Let's check it. Okay. We don't have it. So now what I do is, so I'll just add up my flag here. pv.enable flag. So make a note, just have XX under the XX name before that, so that other developer may understand, okay, boss, this guy has done some extension on this.
Okay. But it won't have, when it's not, does not look good when you put the same name in the front end, right?
No, front end, yeah, but using personalization, change it accordingly. There is no harm in that, right?
Okay.
Which query? Oh, is it? Oh, it is having union. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is what happens. So check out the query first. Okay. Here also I'll add up pv.enable flag. Right. So it is working fine. We could see the enable flag, right? I'll just copy this query and go here, replace. That's it. Click on apply. Okay. Next thing what you have to do is click on attribute mappings. Check out whether your enable flag is referring to your column which you mentioned. Can you see enable flag is referring to our enable flag only. Sometimes what happens is this particular attribute mapping will get corrupted or it may not get refreshed properly. That's the reason what you have to do is make sure that what you have done, what is the column you added, it is referring to same attribute mapping or not, or something like that. We just need to validate in a doc manner. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah. Any questions?
No. Okay.
Okay. So mostly development wise we have done. The next step is project substitution, right? Vivo substitution. On the project, perform a right click. Okay. Before performing substitution, let us see like what is the file extension of our project, or where exactly our project gets stored.
In my project CNN.
Yeah. So in the just in the my projects folder only, our project structure is stored. Workspace and projects are stored in the my projects only. So workspace will have a JWS file. Projects will have a JPR file. So now in our case, what was the name? It was supplier Vivo substitution, right? So I'll just search with the name supplier. Yeah, supplier Vivo substitution project, which is a JPR, right? And here can you see you have JPX also. You have JPX also. So open the JPX file using Notepad. Don't modify anything here. Just observe. So right now it has some information like a container, contia, whatever it is having some information. Now what we do is go to my projects, project properties. Where do you see? Are we at the workspace? Okay, project. Yeah, project properties and business components and substitution, right? So substitution, it tells you what is your source and what is the destination, what to be replaced with what. So our seeded one, the seeded one has to be replaced with a custom one. That's how you have to remember. Seeded one has to be replaced with a custom one. Click on add. So click on OK. So once you click on OK, your JPEG file has to be refreshed and it has to have that information what we have done at the project level. If it is not available, remove it and redo it. Still not available, close the JDeveloper, reopen it and do it again. Okay.
Okay.
Click on
can
OK.
you bring up the screen, Sridhar, again? Can you bring up that screen? How did you navigate to that?
See, project properties. Right click, project properties, business components, substitution.
Okay, substitution. Okay, project properties, substitution. Okay.
Yeah. And now here, if you observe, the JPEG file got modified. Just try to reload and see that whether it is available or not. Can you see substitution?
Yeah.
So unless this is available, your JPEG is not correct.
Okay.
This is a major information. Substitution. Now our substitution is done perfectly. Click on save, and still there is no guarantee it work or it may not work. What is the next step is? So we have done the substitution. Next step is JPEG import. Generally these commands, right, you know, like you don't try to remember the path. I mean to say, like, it doesn't need to know all the information of that. You just need to have a clarity where this command is available, and by default Oracle provides a sample example also for you. So what we can do is, first of all, just find out where it is available. At least this JPEG command will be available in the JDev bin folder. So let me change this property so that oh bad. Okay, 1 minute. And this recording, like, color should be, you know, like if it is background color is black, in the recording you cannot observe this information. That's why I want to change it. Screen background, I want to make it white, and font and make it as 1216. Yes. Okay, you can see, right?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah.
Now I'll be in a JDev bin folder. So we just have only a couple of commands. You just need to remember where they are getting stored, where they are available. I can say. Let us say you can observe from here first. JDev, JDev bin, right? JDev bin, JDev OAXT bin folder. So in this, you'll have all the commands which you generally refer. Import command, JPEX import command, XLF import command. So these are the most, generally we use only import and JPEX import. Remaining commands, it is very rare we use it. Even I never used it so far. Okay. So now
Okay.
in this particular one, go to this location. Okay. So you don't need to remember the total information. Just remember the command where it is stored. Just type JPEX import and run it. By default, it will provide you a sample for you. By default, it will provide an example. Copy this example and modify according to your requirement. Okay. Now what need to be modified? Very simple. JPEX import is correct. Followed by it is asking where is our JPEX file. So our JPEX file is this one. I'll mention that. JPEX. Where is that? This one. And followed by user ID is not required. Remove that. Username is your app's username password. Apps password apps, and make sure this command is available in the total single line. It is showing in multiple lines. You just need to change it accordingly. Now here, what is the other thing? We have to change the host. GLO dot. This is your database details, right? And this is VIS. That's it. And this has to be available in a single command. So I'll just make sure this is available in single line. Okay, now it is available in a single line only because I can see line number 20 is filled, right? So now copy this command, and what you can do is before performing substitution, I want to show you one information. Let's say one minute. Where is XML? Now, what was our Vivo name? Select star from JDR paths, where path underscore name. Where is this? This is our Vivo extended one, right? I'll just search with like this, like this. Okay, we will not get record. Maybe if we get it, that may not be a different information, but mostly will not get it. Yes, we are not getting it. Now you just execute the command. Execute the command. Let's see. Import completed, and it clearly mentioned what document imported and where it located also. Have a note of this information.
Okay.
Now it says it got imported at this level. Now execute the JDR paths, this one here, and observe whether what it is showing. Can you see? Supplied summary view, it is showing now, right?
Yeah.
Path underscore name, path underscore doc ID, JDR and DS and get document. And yeah, the same thing it is showing. But where is our Vivo extension information? That is available at the attributes level. What you do is make a note of your JDR attributes, attribute component underscore doc ID, JDR attributes, where at comp doc ID is equal to this one. Now you'll have total information which I was telling to.
Okay.
Can you see? This is getting customized with this one. So now if someone asks you where is my extended view voice, this is our extended view. Simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So sometimes you may not have a clarity, or let us say you say that you deployed it and other developer says, boss, it is not available. How can you validate? This is how we can validate. Or let us say someone says I could not find out the extended Vivo, maybe due to some other reason, due to profile property is not enabled, or let us someone has deleted something, or they are corrupted or something like that, right? So you'll have this information.
Okay.
We know how to deploy it, but there are some requirements. You may need to remove it also, right? It's not just deployment. You may also need to remove it. If you want to remove it, simple JDR utils delete document and mention this particular path, the path which
Okay.
you have this, right? This one, delete document. That's it. It will delete the information.
Okay.
Clear? So now the next step is bouncing. Until you bounce it, it will not be available in the page. Okay.
Okay.
So the bouncing logic may depend on your server also, depending upon your server as well as depending upon your Unix environment also. So maybe if it is 12.2, any version after 12.1.3, nothing but 12.2 star version, you will have a WebLogic server. Your bouncing generally, like it will have some managed server concept, and you just need to execute some set of Java jar files, and
Okay.
little bit different is it. That's the only stuff. Remaining is totally same. Okay, so now I'll go to Apple Manager. Appearance font. Okay. Admin scripts home, I guess. Yeah, it is right. I'm in the admin scripts home. Again, like based on your environment, like execution of a script, permissions, it may differ. Sometimes in most of the environments, you need to execute environment file, then only it will allow you to bounce it. And also for bouncing, maybe your DBS generally they just design some very easiest script. Just execute that script with start option. Just execute the same script again, stop option kind of thing. Okay. So in my case, it's a little bit different. ADOBM install stop all. So it is stopping the server now. So generally, the managed server concept is nothing but it's like you have a parent that have a number of children. Each is taking care of some functionality. So these children we generally call it as managed server. Oh, where is
Okay.
it was closed? Okay. What happened? Okay. Echo admin scripts home status CTL status. Okay. I think somebody would have modified, I guess. Okay, all are down, right? All got down.
Okay.
Yeah. Start all. We can also observe this should be stopped. If I click on something, it should not work. Yeah, it stopped. Yeah, 2 are alive, 2 are down. These are all managed servers.
Okay.
Generally, it doesn't need to do these number of steps. You'll just have only one script to execute with start and stop and start.
Okay.
As this is a training environment, we have a little bit different. Yeah, it should be working now. Cool. Yeah, so purchasing super user, GHIJQL, purchasing super user vision operations. The first thing we have to identify is like now bouncing is done, and let us say if worst case, assume that when we click on page, if it is not opening, mostly it has to open because as of now we have not performed personalization. 100% it has to open, but worst case if it doesn't open, the only option is delete your Vivo extension which you have done.
Okay.
Yeah, so got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, all are alive only. Okay, the option what I can do is enable diagnostic. Okay, somebody again disable diagnostic. FI functional administrator. Check out whether what it is option. Profiles. Yeah, that's what Vivo extension. The process is not tough, but it works or not is a dependency. So I'll just say yes. Yeah, see, there is no specific reason why it worked earlier, why it is showing now, but why it was not showing earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's click on about this page and find out whether our latest Vivo information is available at this place or not. This is the first step we have to identify. Somewhere it shows substitution information. So if it doesn't show, yeah, it is not showing, right? Supplier summary.
Yeah.
Supplier summary. It's not showing. Mm. One basic thing. Did we move our class files? We have not. We have not moved our class files. That's strange. Okay. Yeah. Okay. These things happen. Yeah. My classes. Yeah. My classes CNN. I'm just moving. Copy. Make sure generally copy in binary mode. Okay. In some Unix environment, it works in a very strange manner. So make sure you copy in binary mode. CNN or class. POI supplier. No, still, if you see here, it was not available. The reason is I've never compiled it. I have not built it, right? So that is other issue. Click on make or rebuild. Now it will generate a class files. Very good. We got the issues, right? So, okay, it says, okay, it is referring to the ex1 file issue, not our issue actually. If you observe, right, this is available. One issue is at the supplied summary Vivo IMPL not found. It says it is not allowing me to compile, right? So the reason is copy your your class files both locations. As of now, we just copy to only my projects, right? Make sure
Yeah.
you copy to this one also. That's the other issue. First issue. Oracle Labs,
Yeah.
VOS, supplier, Oracle Apps, VOS supplier, Oracle Labs, supplier, server, VOS supplier. Supplier summary view. Okay, so we have to be careful. Sometimes even we do any times, most of the times still forget something. So okay, again mistake. Create a directory. Server, right? In server folder we have to copy. Copy the files. Okay, now retry. Yeah, can you see that it went off? The red mark went off.
Yeah.
Rebuild. Let's try. So still it is giving some issue, and it is part of which one? EX1 Java, EX5 Java, EX1 Java. So which is not our files at all. I mean, in this example, I can just simply delete them, exclude them. So
Okay.
we will not have an issue. Very simple. Now rebuild. That's it. Perfect. Now let us say in rebuild also still if you got some issue, and which if it is referring to some other issue which you never, I mean, if it is not referring to any files which you are referring, then what is the best option is copy the total folder to folder. That's the only option.
Okay.
Now my classes CNN, copy the total folder, CNN Oracle apps, POIs, supplier, server. Yes, perfect. So now we have our supplier Vivo EX IMPL Vivo EX.xml. And if you open the Vivo EX, this one, we will have our latest attributes which we mentioned, right? XX enable flag.
Yeah.
And what we can do is go back to the page, try again. Maybe it may not show, or let's try. Yeah. Yes, these are the issues which I'm expecting. Okay, this is a different issue, but let's try. Log out. I think somebody bounced again.
Oh, okay. Multiple people using this one?
Yeah, yeah. Multiple developers. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There is some other one who is working at the same time. Okay, I think it should be up in some time. Let's try. Apple Manager, CCTL status. It is alive only. Oh, it is not server issue, I guess.
Okay.
Which, ADOA FM start all. No, it is something happened. Okay. This is our server, which HTTP server, which is down. Let's try. This should work now. Very good. Procurement. Where is procurement?
Procurement, right? Okay.
I don't see that. Tap into responsibility. Shit, man. This one. Somebody removed it, I
Did
guess.
we lose that responsibility?
No. It's maybe somebody received it. Removed it or something happened.
Oh, okay.
It's procurement only, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Procurement super user. Maybe try with iProcurement.
No, we have not tried I, right? We have not tried with I.
iProcurement super user.
No, we have not tried I. We have not done on I procurement, isn't it? Strange things. That responsibility. Shit, man. Who is this guy? Somebody corrupted system, I guess. Okay. What was that page name? Supplier?
Buyers Work Center.
Bias Work Center, right? Okay. Okay. Still we can do it. Application, function.
I think maybe purchasing super user. Can you try from purchasing super user?
Yeah, it is purchasing, not procurement. Sorry. Oh my God. Jet. Okay. Yeah, fine. We got diverted with that issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Business components. Yeah. Can you see the reason why it did not show earlier? Because we don't have that information, right? The class files were not moved. Just click on this one and check out whether your new attribute which we mentioned is available or not. Yes, it is available, right? XX enable flag is there. And the next thing what we have to do is go back to the page, make a note of this information. It is very important information. Okay. And also, what was the v1 name here? What was the v1 name we had? This is the name, right? This is the one similar to the one which we had. Now go back here, personalize this information. Click on personalize supplier table, and here this is a table level, right? This is my table level. Click on create item, and your just click on apply. I mean, okay, it shows function level. Let's go with site level. Site level message style text, right? And have a unique item attribute. Generally, that's the reason you start with this XX component so that you'll not have any issue. And then there are three important properties which you have to set: ID, Vivo instance, Vivo attribute, as well as prompt. So four properties.
Okay.
So here you have a readable name, appropriate name which you want to show. Prompt.
So what is it we are doing here, Sridhar? It's personalization, right?
Yeah. So we created we have extended the Vivo, but that is still not available, right? Yeah. So then we are just
we have
personalization. Yeah.
Okay.
This is my attribute. So we have to mention total path or just this path?
Total.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, just the V1 name. Can you see?
Oh, okay. Just the V1.
Yeah. For the CO it was different, but for the Vivo it was just the latest V1 name you have to mention. Okay. Let us say in worst case, let us say you did something due to some personalization issue. Assume that you just mentioned some attribute which is not available, or due to some issue, if this page is not working, we have the page path, right? So using functional administrator, perform the personalization, disable the personalization, delete the personalization, and redo it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see? Enable flag is available. I think this is a perfect example, I guess. Perfect. Got it? So now, now here remember, please, you're saying something?
No. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Total files as well as components, if you want to migrate, right? Generally, you'll get lot number of issues. Its issues is not about technical stuff, because of our forgetfulness or a manual failure, we'll get some issues. But first thing is, what files we have to move it? The first one is your Vivo related XML file, Vivo related IMPL file, and JPEG substitution, and also page personalization.
Okay.
So these 4 things you have to remember when you work on deployment.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any questions on this? So yeah, the migration I'll just send you, like once I get some time, I'll send you the shell script migration also, so that maybe, are you using any migration tool or
I think it's only still the Unix command only, manual part only.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm clear on this one, Sridhar. So tomorrow, so the same thing we'll do with something like CO customization, not the view one.